The John Daversa Podcast.
It needs to mean something. Music, making music, like to be on stage. It's not like, okay, I gotta play my song because I wrote it and because this, it's like, no, it has to be a meaningful sharing experience. And if I manage to reach someone's heart and make them for a second feel something, sad, happy, and whatever in between, I feel it's a real privilege. And it's my safe place. It's the only safe place I have. It's inside music.
This next episode is with master clarinetist, saxophonist, composer, and band leader Anat Cohen. And I hope that this episode allows you to see her creative mind and process just a little bit closer. Here's our podcast.
I mean, I've noticed you're leaning toward collaborations in a lot of your music. It seems like you really like to share that with other musicians. Even if you're leading something, I can feel you want that input, you want that collaboration. And I think that's, for a lot of folks, that's really hard to do, to and especially to write. And I wonder if you can even talk about that a little bit, to try and write and arrange as a quartet, and with all those cooks, how you come to those compromises together.
It is interesting. It is interesting. I think it really depends, like being the role of the band leader, right? Yeah. And when you come to a band, if you don't know the people, then of course you need to be like, well, this is what I want, and I'm looking for this. This is the groove, and think about this, and this is the form, and this is what you're gonna play. And it's very, you kind of give instructions how to get from point A to the end, and then you kind of like, all right, let's see how it works out. But I think the idea of playing with people over many years, what for me the best part of it is that it's like you're developing it's not the friendship of just the friendship of the interpersonal relationship, but you really get to know the people, what they can bring. You cut more slack all the time. You cut, right? You give more slack. I don't know what's the expression. I mean, but you kind of you let it more loose, and you kind of like, because you know what they can take care of. So I think like in this recording that we did, one of the pieces that I brought was a piece that I wrote for a clarinet, just for solo. And I was like, guys, I just brought the melody of, this is like a kind of through composed thing for clarinet solo, which it moves between different vibes. It's like, this is, guys, I'm gonna play. I gave everybody the chart with the melody. There was nothing in it besides just a melody. And I was like, okay, let's read it and let's see what happens. And it became a piece of music, some counter lines here and there, and some chords and some this, and it just developed together. So
was it really, there was no other intention or other even seeds of a thought for you what it could be?
Oh, it's definitely, in this specific piece that I bought, it's definitely, it's pretty obvious because it's a specific rhythm, and and there's a time, and the phrases imply, like it goes, exactly where it's going. Like it has a little like 6/8, a little classical, a little like more like, it invites the band to bring their personality, to create either something inside or very out. So, but because it was it was like, okay, let's try. So we tried together, and then it's like, let's try this chord. Let's put this bass line. I love this kind of collaborative, this way of working. Saying all that, this is the most time-consuming way of working, and it's a real privilege to be able to say, hey guys, let's get together and you know, a few times and see, and okay, it didn't really come out. I'll go home, I record what we did, I'm going to listen, I'm going to write some idea, come back next time, we try again. But of course, in this day and age, when many people have you have a concert and you got to have one rehearsal because it's cost too much money, and you got to you have to arrive with planned ideas to not to spend time on what you don't need to spend time. So I think for that case, it's important to have clearer ideas. Absolutely.
But when you're collaborating like that too, especially with 4 people, let alone just one other person, it's just as important that you have that time musically together, but also that you have time at going to dinner together, you know, the walking, you know, for 10 minutes together, just talking and sharing things that have nothing to do with music, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you need that time too to get to know each other, to establish trust, to establish kind of a knowing of each other, which informs how you're going to interact with the music too.
Right.
Like, it's a big investment of time.
Yeah. Well, we in this case we like each other, and you're right that it. I mean, it really is a privilege to meet. It can only happen, I think, in certain period of I don't know, your life, or it has to work with everyone's specific. Because people that when I went to Brazil the first time, everybody was like, okay, we all was 20 years ago, and everybody was just home. Everybody just wanted to go out and play and just play. It wasn't like the economic were not driving the music. The music was driving everything. Like, let's get together, the music, let's learn the music, let's create a community, let's be together. Today's here, tomorrow is there, but the same group of people were just moving, and everybody could do it. And then 20 years later, everybody with kids, with family, with mortgages, with this, it's like, I don't go out, and it's too tired, and so it's like it will never happen again. So it has to, like, all the stars have to align.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
What else is different now that you navigate? You need to navigate now in your life that's different from 25 years ago, 20 years ago. But in addition to that.
Wow, and I feel it. Yeah, I feel like there was more hang.
Yeah.
But it's not because people are hanging all the time. But I don't know if it's because, like, we all kind of got older, so people just are busier, or just, I don't know, or I feel like life got so expensive that people can't afford to just hang.
I think that's a big component.
Right?
Yeah. Can't afford the time and the money.
Yeah.
They kind of go together, no matter what the age. It's just, right? I mean, and that's such a big part of it, the hang. It's like to have the social connection and talking about what's going on in each other's lives, and hearing other people play. I know I really miss just being able to go out and hear concerts and hear other people play. Usually all the concerts I'm experiencing are my own, and that's a limited experience, so you're not getting that outside experience from live.
Yeah, the live.
Sure,
is
we
so
can go
nice.
on, online and hear all this, and like infinite music, but it's just different.
Yeah, I hear you. I like to experience, again, the collaborative experience.
Yeah.
Like, even listen to music. I like to feel it in a room. I want to feel how it impacts everybody at the same time, or just me inside the space. I like the live experience. I don't enjoy as much maybe just a period of my life, and this is like just a personal thing, but maybe because there's a lot of things happening inside here that I am not able to enjoy as much putting music and just listen to it on my own. But with another person, even just one person, it's a whole other experience, or of course in a room full of people. But on my own, it's been a little struggle.
You know, it's funny. This is a bit of a tangent, but even with your own music, I was talking to my grad comp class about this the other day, and I said, "Isn't it wild how you can play your music and listen to it with other people in the room, and all of a sudden it sounds different? You know, it sounds very different because you're listening to it through their ears.
Totally.
And then it's not just one other, it's just not 2 ears, it's like 16 of them together, or you hear your music playing on the radio, or it has a different feeling to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly. I think when you make a new recording and you play for somebody for the first time, and you're like, you experience it, because you know, when we are recording, you're like, wow, we hear the magnifying glass, all the details that nobody else will ever really care for or notice, just us, you know, and then you're like, suddenly the next day you listen with another person, check this out, and you're like, wow. You live them. It's like an out of body experience almost.
Yeah. I always feel like there's a certain point where the recording is just birthed, and you start to separate more and more from it, and you still connect to it as a family member, but it starts to live as its own entity, and you judge it less and less in terms of the ego, and it's just okay, it just lives on its own, and when somebody likes it, you're so happy for it.
Right.
And you know, you remember you were had something to do with it at some point, and you kind of guided it along the way, but now it's, you know, living on its own life.
It's true. It's like
it's like
a child, right?
Or they hated it, and it's like, I really wish they just don't understand them, you know. but it has nothing to do with me, you know.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to describe it.
Yeah.
You kind of it grew on its own. That's it. Now it has its own life.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel that. I feel pretty detached even after I write something.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a larger, like, big band thing or even orchestral thing, and you spend all this time, you know, it's like birthing this baby, right? It's like this thing. And then once they play it, it's not mine anymore.
I think because I haven't been writing for large ensembles like that, and I think this is for me. I always wonder about this experience, because it takes a long time to write large pieces of music like that, but you're not performing them necessarily. So you just you hand them, and they will become whatever they need to become, with the spirit of sometimes another conductor, another person, another leader.
Right.
And it's like such an exercise in also letting go.
Yeah, just detach from it.
So you have to detach from it.
I find that part of it fairly easy for me, you know, and I see other people really hold on to it. I don't know what's better.
Yeah,
you know?
me neither.
There's a certain point where I don't associate so closely with it anymore, even if I'm still playing it, you know. Then I'm involved with the performance aspect of it, but the writing, that's another entity. It was written,
that's it.
It came through me, but it's not attached to me anymore.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I mean, that's not 100% all the time, but generally, you know, that's kind of what happens. Would you ever consider doing maybe you have, and forgive me,
No.
would you ever consider doing a solo record, like a whole album of just solo?
I have not yet, so all good. And
Oh, you got to do it.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to do it. I want to have the guts to do it. But
How vulnerable would that be, right? How exposing.
You know, I feel like my relationship with the clarinet is so. I mean, my relationship with the clarinet is pure, relatively to other instruments. But I feel like the world's relationship with the clarinet is complex, and I'm like, well, if I do it, gotta make it in a way that will be digestible, and I want it to make people love the instrument. It's not me. It's like, you know, I want it to be doing justice for the instrument, because this instrument is people still not 100% trusting it. I feel like maybe in the classical world, it's more like, okay, it's the clarinet, but
especially in the jazz world, you know.
Yeah,
and the clarinet was, you know, the instrument, you know, in the very beginning of whatever we're going to call jazz, right?
Right.
And then, you know, the saxophone became this dominant force in this whatever we want to call the modern era. So there's a certain bias, there's a certain thing there that I understand in part of what you're describing.
Yeah, I'm like.
But the clarinet is, I mean, it's so, you can get so many colors and dynamics and, you know, and I mean, just the range itself, but the colors that you all get from, it's so personal. It's so, you can really become a voice, I think, more than, it lends itself more than a lot of other instruments.
And you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
I think the clarinet has this possibility of and it can fit so many more situations than what people actually allow it to fit. Like they don't think, they always think about saxophone so naturally. I'm like, wait, but the clarinet, it has all this. It can be soft, and it can be caressing, it can be aggressive, it can be, you know, authority. It can have authority, and it can be, you know, asking. It can be so many things. But people are. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be. Like solo clarinet is so exposed.
Well, this is a mission for you, I think.
No, that's kind of what happened. It's not something that I feel like I have this responsibility now, because somehow I became a clarinet player, which was not something I ever really planned. I was trying to be a saxophone player, right. But you know, clarinet was like kind of like, hello, remember me? It's like, all right, cool.
But there's this mission, about the clarinet. But I also mean even more specifically to do a solo record.
Yeah.
And then a solo tour. Wow, right?
It's so lonely.
Very lonely. And for someone that really, you would be collaborating with the clarinet.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. But sometimes people say, do you ever play alone? It's like, but would you go hear somebody play just solo instrument for a concert? Yeah,
but that's me. I mean, perhaps, I don't know if it's more difficult even doing a duo, right?
Yeah,
it's more
I already
difficult
feel like in duo we have to kind of like listen. It works. Like you can play duo. Yeah. People are.
I've been involved with a duo concept myself the last year and a half or so, and it's one of the most rewarding things I've done musically, because like it's a smaller thing, and there's no musical compromise, and we can, the dynamics are just so, everything is there, nothing is not there. Yet, I talked to the publicists and the booking agents, and well, we can't sell out the show because we don't have a drummer. It's like, why? I mean, it's so much deeper of a journey, of an experience, I think, as a listener. But there's a misnomer that the duo or even a solo is just going to be just this one thing that they already have made up their mind what it's going to be. They don't know yet. I'm
totally with you. I often feel that because now we're sliding from the creative part to the business part. Yeah. And some people feel like, well, no, you got to have 4 musicians on stage. I'm like, why? Mm-hmm. It's like are you paying by you getting by the kilo, by the pound? Why do you need quantity? The quantity doesn't guarantee the quality. But people feel like, well, no, people want to see 4 musicians. I'm like, you're talking, whose opinion is that? Like,
Booking agents, publicists, we want you to understand this right now. The power of a smaller ensemble, solo or duo. We're going to pack them in.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the people. Yeah, sometimes it can, some say, oh no, it's too boring to see 2 people, but isn't really.
And so and what I learned doing through this duo experience is how exposing it is, how vulnerable.
And how many chops you're gonna be.
Oh my goodness.
That'd be shaved.
Oh yeah. Goodness gracious. It's unforgiving.
Oh, yeah. Unforgiving. It's like, halfway through the concert, like,
well,
okay.
So I mean, I completely cheat on that because I play the EVI, the electric valve instrument, so that gives me some rest and I sing. So I try to pace out the tune so that I'm going in between.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely it's yeah. I just did a 10-day tour with Marcelo Gonçalves on the guitar. Definitely, 10 days duo tour. It's good. It puts you back in shape.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. When you do that, it feels like you can just do anything.
Yeah, especially when you got to play sometimes like 2 shows a night. You're like, oh, okay. It's like it's not because in those situations, it's not like, okay, now the piano player is going to take a solo and the drummers and the bassists are going to accompany. I'm going to go sit and listen from this. I'm going to become a listener. No, you're like, you are. I love this role in the duo that you're like the alternating.
Yeah.
Like between you're expected to be the accompanist and as a horn player.
Yes.
Which, if in other situations, sometimes in a quartet, and we're like, am I stepping on anyone's toes? Yeah. It's not as obvious, but in duo, you can constantly weave your lines in and out. So you can end up playing like the whole time if you want, and just use color of your tone,
exactly,
the color of your sounds, you know, to tell people what you're doing now. Okay, now I'm accompanying and now I'm playing and it's the same note, but I play differently so everybody understands that where to focus. You're kind of guiding you're guiding the listener in some ways with your sound. I love that.
Me too. And even when you're not playing, you still need to be so present and engaged with the other person because you're still playing even though you're not playing.
Yeah.
You're still so involved with what they're doing, and you have to be ready to, it needs this, just as an accompaniment, just underneath, just to keep them, in an energy or something to react to, so they're not just by themselves. Yeah. Okay. So, what about the business side of it? I'll ask you the same question. What's different now for you that you have to navigate? There are 2 parts of it, right? There's this stage in your career, and then also it's just a new time. The business stuff is a little bit different now too. So, what are you navigating now that you didn't have to navigate, or what's different, I should say, than 20, 25 years ago?
Well, I'll give you the obvious one.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah. Are you good with that stuff?
No.
Or do you like that stuff?
No.
Yeah, me too. Great.
I mean, I like when there's something fun happens and you have can capture it and you find it fun, so it's a natural thing. But the fact that you need to work at that, which is it's a job. It's a full-time job. If you want to be creating content and create, it seems like that's. Like this is how it is at every given moment, where our existence is about, oh wow, we should take a picture and post this, and everything is about like capturing, and it's kind of like how everything is. It doesn't give you the opportunity to just be, just relax into the moment anymore, and space out also. Okay, I didn't take a video of this moment. I didn't take any any video and any picture in my recording, say, okay, I didn't do it. I don't want to post about everything I do. But then the business part says, well, and how your followers, how they gonna, you got to give them, so it's like we have this like accompaniment of this invisible entity that we have to provide for constantly. It's kind of it's an interesting concept that I don't want to feel that I'm too old for it, but it's I don't always have the patience for it. And the last few months have been quite intense for many people.
Yes.
And I don't want to post anything. I just don't want to do it. I don't feel it's first of all, I don't feel it's appropriate, but then it's like being a musician now, it's all about like self-promotion. And it's kind of, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I know it's we have to do it, and I do it, but I don't like it.
I wonder if there's a way to find things to do. It's always, just staying within your own integrity with it, right?
Yeah.
Finding something that would feel like it's kind of fun instead of doing what you think is expected to do.
Right.
I think there's something in that. I'm not saying that I've figured it out at all, but
what's your thing?
I don't know. I actually haven't. I'm saying this to myself too. I think I'm going to post videos with me and a Schlügelbach, just talking about constellations.
That's
cool. And the ukulele. And I think it's going to be a big hit. And also come see my show at 7:00. I don't know, but something that's fun and.
That's
or it doesn't have to be fun, but something that's in your own integrity that you have, like there's a certain spark about it.
Exactly.
Instead of, okay, this is what this person did, and so I guess I better do that. Then of course it's going to fall flat.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel good about it. It's not going to get that much response because you didn't feel good about it, and you got to find your own way with it, just like you do with your music.
It's easier with notes. The words are the challenging part, but the notes are...
You ever write lyrics?
No.
Never?
No. Maybe like, I don't know, 20 years ago, if I wrote like a little one scribble, I never.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak Hebrew, English, Portuguese.
You speak Portuguese as well?
I speak Portuguese. Don't you?
No.
What?
I know.
But
well, hey. Well, my wife is actually Italian.
Oh,
but
you
said
Brazilian.
Well, she was born and raised in Brazil, so their family moved to Rio right before she was born. So now they moved back to Italy, but they spoke Italian in the house, cooked Italian, yelled Italian, everything. And then you go outside and you're on the beach in Rio. Now I remember the first time. I hope they don't mind me saying. First time I went to go visit her, decades ago.
In Rio.
It was in the middle of the night, I think, or really early in the morning, and her dad was like yelling, "Madonna!" It's like, what is going on? He was just watching the Formula One race, like that. That's the house. So I can understand a bit of Italian, but Portuguese is what I understand of Portuguese is what I know of Italian.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So 3.
So
do you, and never wrote in Hebrew or any lyrics or?
Wow, no. I mean, if I did, it was in Hebrew. I don't know.
Do you ever journal?
I go in and out.
And what languages does that come out in?
Always Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it ever morph from one word into Portuguese, and Portuguese one word that leads you to English?
Mm-mm.
Ah.
Mm-mm. My even though I don't live in Israel for almost 30 years,
right.
my Hebrew is still better than all my other languages.
Do you know what you dream in?
You're dreaming?
Do you dream in a particular language?
Wow, I don't know In which language? Do you know which language you dream?
I only know one.
You only know one.
So
One.
probably not that one.
I don't know. I never really remember conversations in my dreams. I don't remember words.
What do you remember?
I rarely remember my dreams. But when I do remember, I swear they're like some Indiana Jones movies. They're like some insane like action.
Right on.
Like things like, I don't know, there's always riots and things and there's always like a lot of movement. Doctor, what do you say about that?
So here's what I think you need to do is that you need to make an intention before you go to sleep to remember your dream, and then try to, whenever you remember one, just write it down, just like the scene. Okay, I was on the horse, and we were chasing down the artifact, and
then write
my
about
name was Indiana, whatever, and you get it, and then you're going to make a record of solo clarinet based on these themes.
I like that.
Yeah.
My producer, everybody, please.
I would most definitely buy that record and be there at the show for sure.
I like.
And then you have, someone like Max create some images to project behind you while you're doing it. So you have, this other thing. So you can tell your publicist and your booking agent,
Max, you hired.
This is a multimedia event. It's not just solo clarinet, whatever ideas you have about what a solo clarinet concert would be.
Yeah, I'm going to screen a whole choir. So it's basically me with a choir accompaniment. That's actually not a bad idea. You can do that. You just need to film the choir. You don't have to hire them for every gig. You just need to record them once. You call it -1.
Yeah, call the union.
Call the union.
Yeah. I like this. I think this is going to be a universal tour for you.
But you know what? I do think that this. I wish fear was not a parameter. If I wish something for myself is to just stop having fear. Like I worry about everything, like what it should be, what it could be, why and how, and I want to just do, because life is just going so fast and
yeah, very fast.
It's so fun to have this, like, okay, let's do, and then just do it and then move on, because that's it. Why is life not like that?
Kills a lot of incredibly creative ideas, doesn't it? And goodness, it's all just a video game anyway. Let's go jump in. But also, I would venture to think that the fear that you have is based on a certain level of excellence that you hold for yourself, obviously, because you want to be at a, for yourself, like you want to be able to deliver the sound, like to serve the music and even that entity of the clarinet, and it makes you dive into those details and practice the small little things and get better and get better and get better. Otherwise you wouldn't be at this place where you're, at the level of craftsmanship that you are. And it also brings in, the craftsmanship brings in the creativity to be expressed.
No, I hear you. But, at some point you got to be like, okay, got to develop a trust. Like if I work so hard to develop trust in the people I work with, in other people, then I need to develop the trust in me. And I have it. It's there. But sometimes the fear is just, it's bigger. But I have the trust and I know, I trust myself inside music.
Yeah.
Like I trust that what I feel, and that I'm connected to the whatever, like that I'm pure at the moment, that I'm not deceived by like but the judgment, you know, the critical part of like, it's always okay. Wow, I went far, but I don't know. Does it make sense?
Do you, do you think
I didn't finish
that?
my phrase even.
Yeah, have some more coffee. Do you think that it doesn't seem like it would, but I wonder if does that on some sort of subtle, shadowy way, does that seep into how you view others, the way that you view yourself? Does that judgment come when you see others?
No,
It's just for yourself.
it's just for me. Special.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What's your relationship with like certain expectations from yourself, or from self-judgment, or from how do you deal with this relationship?
Well, you know, off the top of my head or off the top of my heart, I would say that I would judge myself for not trying, but not necessarily the not succeeding. But if I didn't try, I would be really down on myself. Because there's a certain part of me that feels like if I receive an idea, a thought to do something, it was given to me and has nothing to do with me. And now it's a responsibility to do something with it. So how dare I not take action on that? And so that's when I would get down on myself. And if I wasn't able to execute it, okay, you know, I'll try it again, or that just didn't work, but I know that I tried it.
That's beautiful. So fear is not there.
Oh, I've got a lot of fear, of course, you know, but I think it's just, if you have sometimes I think we don't even have an awareness of the fear. You know, okay. You stop yourself and you didn't even know that's why you stopped.
Huh.
Or you don't acknowledge or understand it as fear. So if you can be aware of it, then you can, okay, I've got this fear now. Where is it coming from? Am I worried about how the outside world is going to view me for doing that? Okay, that is what it is, you know. Okay, does that actually matter? Actually, it doesn't. And then it goes away. So, and then another fear will come up, and once you can see it, then you can let it go once you can understand it.
I love it that you dialogue with your rationale.
I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, that's
me
beautiful.
Me and the Sugar Bar, we talk a lot.
Sounding great, buddy.
Yeah, the silence is good.
Yeah, man, I like the space.
Mm-hmm. Space is good. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's actually inspiring.
Mm-hmm. And that's perhaps even something that for whomever is going to listen to this, you know, to just bear in mind, you know, because especially in this age of intense social media, you know, of course, everyone's posting their surface best thing that's happening to them, and
I know everybody's
and everyone, you know, of course, wants to be doing that too, or be experiencing that kind of love, you know. May it be, you know, business love or actual creative love, you know, self-worth and all that kind of stuff. And you just can't compare, you know. You have to find your own pathway through.
Did you have a person that helped you get there? Many,
you know, in little small ways. I couldn't point to just one person, but it's exchanges like this. It's being open to really hearing and feeling people as they come into your lives, you know, for different phases, and then they go. It's like sometimes, you know, 99% of the people that you interact with, you learn from, and you realize, okay, I never ever want to be like that. I never ever want to do it like that. You know, even like working with band leaders
absolutely,
or teachers, like, okay, I would never do it like that, and thank you for showing that to me as an option. And then there's the 1% that you go, oh, that gives me an idea to go. I never thought about doing it that way in a positive way. And they're equally as informative, and you just keep taking it in and learning from it.
I loved it. No, because I say the same. It's funny because I say so often you learn how you don't want to be.
Yeah.
From and I give the same example of band leaders and educators. You know, that you're like, oh my God, this is like totally wrong. When I get the chance, that's exactly what I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
But it's you also and you have to thank those people equally.
Yes, absolutely. And in the same way, you have to be grateful for the failures and the challenges as much as you're, thankful for the successes and the opportunities. Well, the challenges are the opportunities because the resistance helps you grow, right? How else would you, unless...
Little. Yeah, gotta feel just enough. Being uncomfortable, just enough.
Yeah.
To need to want it. So... So let me ask you. So I know this has become like now I'm asking you questions, but
I love it.
So I sometimes I describe, like, people ask me about back to like the subject of fear or like I think like you take a white canvas and you say, okay, here are all the possible crayons and all the colors. Go. Are you gonna be one of those, like, I have a feeling that you're gonna be like those person to be like immediately going and just trying everything and gonna go with the like I always feel like this with creativity and with approach to like this black canvas of this thing that is like, how do you, like, I because I feel more comfortable if somebody says, all right, so just pick the red and the blue and just start with just triangles and then see where it takes. Like I feel like I need some structures. How
I think everyone is like that to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Miles Davis quote, right? I start with something I know, and it leads me to something I don't.
Oh, beautiful.
So
beautiful.
if I know how to make a triangle, or I know the color blue, so okay, here's blue, and then it's going to inspire the next idea.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that's how
you need structure. I mean, if it was just all wide open, anything's possible, nothing would ever get done. You need the grid or the structure, the method to kind of sit on, and then you can destroy it because you see what it is. Like you need to see the box to go outside of the box. Otherwise, you'd never go outside the box.
Excellent. I love this. Okay, that's perfect. Because people, this conversation about creativity and about improvisation, and especially when you talk to people that don't improvise, or they're afraid of improvisation, and you're like, well, how do you start? And people says, hey, so I want to start improvising, can you recommend a book? And
it's not zeros and ones.
Yeah, and I never know how to really, and it's such a personal thing, the creation and improvisation, but I love this idea of like, you got to start with something
Yeah, my dad's a great improviser and trumpet player as well. And when I was just starting, some of the things that he would tell me, he would just kind of give me, here's just a pitch palette. You can kind of look at, it wasn't a scale, it was, modal or what, but it was just, here's some sounds, right? And, but it was all about singing, basically. Just find a melody. Just find a melody that you can. I'm paraphrasing. I'm trying to think what he might have actually said, but what I remember of it is that you just sing it. Just sing it, and so that it's this expression that is honest, which clearly with you and your music, and I would venture to say that it extends into just how you exist in the world. Honesty is probably one of the primal values for you. It's like honesty and purity.
Ideally.
So it's that, you know, that's the ideal. And then you just go from that. Then it's just a matter of vocabulary. And I even think about improvisation. Isn't everything an improvisation?
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of structure that, okay, well, we know we're going to sit on this couch. we know we're going to record it, and it's going to be a certain duration. It might be, you know, less than 2 days.
Yeah.
And maybe more than half an hour. And okay, you know, we know that much of it. And what we're going to talk about is probably going to be some music stuff, but one thought is going to lead to the next. And it's almost like practicing, right? It's you go into those details and you play ba, ba, and just ba, with the metronome, so you can control that note anytime you want it. And then when you go and play, are you going to play that note? Absolutely not.
No.
But it just leads to the next thought. and so when I sit around in a committee meeting, I'm improvising, and when I'm talking to you, I'm improvising. There's a certain vocabulary that's there, and I'm going to speak in English, but one lead, you know, you can't step in the same river twice. It's always new water. It's always new water. So if you think you're not improvising, you absolutely are.
Interesting. That's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know,
Okay.
with someone that's so.
It's okay that I'm drinking coffee while you were talking.
I think it's better that you're not talking while you drink coffee.
All right, excellent.
With an understanding that purity is a value for you and staying honest, do you think, how far ahead do you think about career stuff? Do you think about, okay, in 10 years I want to be doing this? Or do you keep those kinds of visions, or is it really just one thought leads you to the next?
Whew. You know what? I don't have those thoughts. And like all those, the system books, the self-help books, always like, well, you got a vision where you want to be in 5 years, and where you're going to go in 10, where your career is going to be. And years ago, when one of those books and the exercises of like, and they say, well, can you imagine how you want to be or where you want to be in 5 years? And I'm like, how do I know? Like, I don't know. And I don't want to even have a plan, because I always feel like it might make me miss another opportunity. Saying all that, now being a little older, I realize planning is kind of, it's also important. Because as we're getting older, and suddenly you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not 30. No, we stop there.
Right there with you.
And you're like, wait a second. But at some point, you're like, how long is we going to be doing what we're doing? How long can you just wait? How long do I want to zigzag the world?
Yeah.
How long can I zigzag the world? And
Yeah.
what about, and so suddenly it's like this planning. There's a whole new light on this, like thinking of the career, and time becomes more precious, and there's more pressure to like, wait a second. All these things that one day I'll get to it, I'm probably not going to get to it. So it is now. So suddenly the meaning of now, like another one of those books, but like now becomes a whole other, like, well, I got to do now everything that I want to do, because we really don't know. the last few months definitely showed me that we really don't know what's going to happen. But we also, time flies faster than, it just gets faster. I don't know, somehow the foot is a little heavier on the gas and what seems to be like kind of going slowly suddenly it's like, wow, everything is going so fast. So, I don't regret anything that I've done or I haven't done, but I don't want to have those regrets later.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have this planning as far as like where I want my career to be, but I want to know that I'm doing what I want to do, and now what I want to do, it's a whole other question. It was never my forte to know what I want. I go with the flow. Like I meet people that are musician that is into some music, or I play a certain way and like, whoa, it feels right, let's dig into that for a while. So kind of that's the way I've been with all the adventures, and that's how I got into the music of Brazil, of Venezuela, of this or that. It's like, into jazz or into, it's like, it's a person, it's the people. It's not like a genre that, it's the music for me is not inseparable from the people near me. So it's a little hard for me to make a plan, but I want to plan to meet the right people.
Maybe you're not supposed to. It's you seem from an outsider's point of view, you seem awfully on mission to me.
Wow.
No, because you're bringing music to a lot of people and bringing a lot of people together, and expressing your soul's desire. It seems very clearly to me.
Yeah. I thank you for saying that.
Well, it's like listening to your music through somebody else, right? It's from my point of view, it's very clear. So maybe that's something that's good to just have a mirror every once in a while, so you can see it back at yourself.
It's wow. It's I don't spend much time thinking about it, about this element of it, but I do know that when it needs to mean something, music, making music, like to be on stage, it's not like okay, I gotta play my song because I wrote it and because this, it's like, no, it has to be a meaningful sharing experience, and if I manage to reach someone's heart and make them for a second feel something, sad, happy, and whatever in between, I feel it's a real privilege. And it's my safe place. It's the only safe place I have. It's inside music. So, yeah.
Wow.
Intense days.
Yeah, intense times.
Yeah. I've been, I've been fragile, and I break and I recollect. It has kind of been like the last few months has been like that, and it happens, as you can see, inside the conversation, that like something rattles something, and I just okay, I'm collecting, okay, I'm regrouping. But and the music is so powerful, and I feel like, wow, we're so vulnerable, and I'm okay to be vulnerable. I mean, in general, I'm okay. I mean, I don't have anything to hide. I mean, I'm, as you probably noticed, I'm like, okay, we're talking about my challenges and my fears, and but you know, I want the people I play music with and I make music with, I want to, it has to feel safe. The same when when we teach, we're in the classroom, it's the same. It has to be a safe place for people to be who they are, because this world, this day and age is so hostile.
Yeah.
And if we don't have music to make us feel safe, then what are we doing? So I don't know. I went on a rant here on something else.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. I could spend hours here, you know, going through all these things. Thank you so much for spending this time. Much gratitude, everyone, for checking out the podcast. Please just subscribe and follow and like and add a comment, as it really helps us expand and grow and keep us all connected together. So I appreciate it very much, and I send you much, much, much love. I'll see you on the next one.